Welcome to Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.L.Ruscsak. I'm here with a good friend, Jennifer Schwert. Did I say that right?
Almost Mel. I'm sorry, is it Mel or ML?
You call me whatever you want.
Okay, it's Schwert. It's German. It's a little bit tricky. So
I'm usually good with German, so I'm not sure what I did there, but it's okay because I always mess something up with speech impediments.
not a problem.
You have a company that works in NFTs. So before we get into your company, what led you into your company?
Yeah, I am an entrepreneur and an engineer, and I have had ideas for new products my whole career. That's what I've done, is invented and launched new products. But what I lacked was funding. And when I went to get my MBA some years ago, I went through an entrepreneurial track and pitched BCs and did business plan competitions. And I would always lose out. And I felt that it was because I was a female, promoting female female-facing products, and so I would lose to a group of guys each time that maybe hadn't done as much work as our team had, and didn't have the product market fit that we had. And so what I liked was capital. And when I saw NFT collections last summer, I thought that this would be a great way to raise capital to launch my startup, my business. And then I thought, well, why stop there? Let's raise capital to launch a whole bunch of businesses that haven't traditionally been funded, because in our setup in the United States, 97% of all funding goes to male-led startups. So, so that's really how I got into it.
I mean, excuse me, for being a female company owner myself, I can tell you right now, no matter, I've had people, I use ML when I write any business form. I don't put my first name. So when they read it, they're very interested. It's the best business plan they have seen, and anything, that all the details, they love it. And then they meet you.
Yep.
And, oh, you're a woman.
Yep.
That is the first thing that comes out of these VC firms' mouths, believe it or not.
Yeah.
It's not on the business plan. It's not on the how can you do it. It's on, are you a woman?
Yep. There's still so much bias.
It's getting better. It's better than it was 10 years ago, but we're not there yet. So you have a company that's actually funding people by NFTs.
Yes, absolutely.
So the ultimate goal that you have is what?
That we create a snowball effect with the first sale of the NFTs coming up in a few months. It's called the minting. When we sell this collection of 10,000 NFTs, we will, receive a certain amount of funds in return for those, and we're going to then allow the community to vote on which projects get funded. So we're going to take, we got a model, 50% of the money that comes in is going to go towards funding STEM startups or STEM education, and then 10% of it is actually going to be given back to the NFT holders in the form of a dividend, because we want to, reward the community who has invested their time and their money in these projects. And so once we've invested in this first round of companies, when we start to get a return on that investment, then we're going to keep going and fund more and more STEM startups led by women, people of color, and LGBTQIA+ individuals, and any other marginalized group that has been left out of the traditional funding system.
That is awesome. Now, if someone wants to mint an NFT on your site, what is the process for that?
Yeah, so we're building the community over the next few months, and then we will have a button on our site to mint from our site. You'll connect your wallet, which is kind of like a brokerage account. I always like to give the kind of the stock or Wall Street equivalent terms for these things. But you would connect your brokerage account, and you would the website will handle the transfer of the Ethereum for the NFT, or you can mint on OpenSea as well. And OpenSea is the largest NFT marketplace right now.
See, I work with Rarible.
Rarible, yeah, that's
yeah,
the second largest. Yep.
Yeah, so all my NFTs for books are there.
Yeah, they're a great one too. Really great.
It just, I'm wondering because we have great NFT sites out there, and how yours is set up for, is it just digital art, or are you going to have where you can do books, podcasts like this, or radio, or other projects?
That's a really good question. For this first round, it is just the art, and it is static art. It's just an image. The STEM character, there's a female or a non-binary character in the image, and I have two different poses. One is, this hands on hips, like superhero power pose, and then one is kind of with your hand up and the other hand on the hip. Demonstrating demonstrating that she, can go to space, she can weld, she can engineer, she can, make vaccines, she can do whatever it is that needs to be done in the STEM area. And then I paired a feminist quote with each of them. So it's really about the art this time, the digital art, and then her fashion and her hairstyles are a big part of it too. And I'm working on some collaborations with some fashion designers to come in and design a collection for these NFTs. But in the future, I would definitely be open to future collections or future drops being alternative mediums, like you just suggested, of music or books or something else like that.
Well, as a business owner, I'm always looking at how to pair what I do with the digital world, because NFTs, I'm not opposed to Bitcoin at all in medium. I mean, I will take Bitcoin as payment, I don't care. But at the same time, there's very few places that cater to other mediums. And then you go into Rarible or OpenSea, and they're male dominant platforms.
Yeah.
So you have a female dominant platforms, which perks my ears.
Yes. Yeah. We are a female led and female centrist project. And indeed, we're coming into a more male dominated space. But I think that's what I'm so excited about with the Web3 and NFTs and crypto, is because we're building it now and it's all so fresh and so new. The more women and girls come into it, the more equitable we can build it from the beginning. And then we don't have to go and reverse these cultures and these systems further down the line, like we've had to do in other industries.
Exactly. We have to build from Web3. We have to build it now the way we need it built. We don't need to come in 10 years and try to take down the walls that we see in corporate America.
Right. I couldn't agree more.
So, okay, your drops, your mints come out in a couple months. So how many's in that collection?
10,000.
Okay.
It's a code generated collection.
That is going to be awesome. I just want to make sure. And what is the name of the website so people know what we're talking about?
It's STEMinists, kind of like feminists, but it starts with STEM, STEM.
Now, with your NFT work, are you still doing your other entrepreneurial things?
So yes, and I want to be really transparent. I love that Web3 is about transparency and authenticity. My startup that I want to start with my product designs is one of the projects that I'm creating this project to fund. So that's going to definitely be in the works for the funding. And then the other projects that are applying will be voted on by the community. We're going to call it STEM Tank.
Awesome. I love that name. I mean, now we have to get all the female entrepreneurs and all the female CEOs to go, okay, we have ideas. Here's where we want to go, because it's going to take off almost like a Kickstarter
Right.
almost. But for female-led LGBTQ and all those minorities that we don't see too much of.
Right. Absolutely. And we're not just doing VC funding where we're taking an equity stake. We're looking at each project individually and what makes sense for a healthy long-term growth of that company. Sometimes when it's just an equity stake, it becomes kind of a pump and dump situation. We really want to set all of these founders up for very lucrative, solid, long-term businesses. So maybe a little bit slower growth, but we'll have a longer tail to reap the benefits on.
Exactly. I mean, we don't need a business that booms overnight and in 2 years disappears.
Flames
We
out. Yep.
want a business that is Netflix, Amazon, start small and have grown to household names over 20 years.
Right. And the science backs it up that women leaders, we consistently think longer term and make decisions longer term. So we have those returns for the longer term.
We do. And the men just don't understand that, unfortunately, in the VC world.
Mm-mm.
We are hardwired much differently in the brain to think about different things. It's not just one thing that we do.
Right, right. I mean, you can see it in just the structure that we have quarterly earnings calls.
Mhm.
That just drives the short term, decision making. So absolutely.
It does. So
Absolutely.
your second round of NFTs, when will you be starting those?
I'm not sure. We really want to build a community and then have the community inform us what they want to see and how they want to see us grow. We're also watching the other female-led projects like World of Women, who have launched a second or a third round of NFTs, and seeing what works for them. It's still so new and it changes every day. So we're being really agile and adapting to the marketplace.
Have you linked up or are you watching Women in Bitcoin? It's called International Women of Bitcoin.
I'm not familiar with that one.
They are women-led, world internationally, and they just had a seminar last month. No, March. I'm sorry, March. And they get to talk about Web3 and NFTs and all this stuff that's just for women to get involved in. It's not so much we have to have female leaders, but we need the female community as a whole to get involved.
Absolutely. Yep. Couldn't agree more.
So
I will look them up.
Yeah, it's something to look up because it runs parallel with what you're doing. And there's a lot of intersecting that you can network and get into.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Yeah, and you bring up a good point. We need to get women involved on all levels in these projects. But I also want to see men get involved and purchase and back the women-led projects, because the true equality is going to come when men are buying into the women-led projects just as much as they would be on, a male-led project, or where the characters in the collection are all male.
Exactly. We need the men. We love you. We do. We need your backing and support. And this is how you do it.
Exactly.
It can be very simple. Buy a piece of art on Infurium or, whatever that you're buying it with. But at the same time, you're helping build us up.
Right. Yep. And I think we'll really move into a new phase of equality when we really have that engagement from the guys. So with our project, we're inviting the guys to be a part of it and including them in our marketing plan so that they feel welcome too.
Awesome. I mean, it's not just women taking over the world. We need equality. We need both. But at the same time, it's being led by women. But we still need to bring our husbands, boyfriends, and significant others, brothers, dads, whatever, onto this. Go, hey, can you support me?
Right. Absolutely. Definitely.
And it doesn't have to be a family member, but it could be just some random person that likes the art and supports the female because they did it.
Yep. Absolutely.
So other than STEMinists, where can our listeners and our viewers find you to connect with you directly?
Yeah, they can connect on Twitter at STEMinists NFT, or I am on Twitter at STEMinist Jen, JENN. And then our website is STEMinists.io.
It's all nice and cohesive, which we
Mhm.
like. SEO loves you because it's all one thing. If you
Right.
put in just STEMinist, I'm sure it's going to pop up on Google somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's easy for SEO. I do a lot of SEO marketing. So as simple as you can make things, it works.
Yep. Absolutely.
And if you,
STEMinist NFT Google search will bring you right to us.
yeah, it's nice and simple. We don't need rocket science because we're still teaching rocket science to our daughters.
Absolutely. Love that part of it. I just
Yeah.
became a mom 3 months ago. I can't wait to teach her rocket science. So
Oh, congratulations.
thank you. Thank you.
It's always fun with the little ones. Start reading
It is.
encyclopedias now.
We are. Excuse me. She got me sick. So that's
Of
why I
course.
sound a little stuffy. So
Of course. New mom, your immune system goes down for a little bit. It happens.
it happens. So
So yeah, it does. But yeah, start reading the encyclopedias now to her instead of regular Jack and Jill stories, and you will actually feed the brain now.
right. Absolutely.
I did this with my daughter. I love her. And when she was 3, her words were encyclopedia, dictionary, and things like this versus, cat, dog, and
Nice.
yeah.
I read a study about how their vocabulary shaped so much in these first, 6 to 12 months.
Mhm.
And so we read her, we haven't tried the encyclopedia yet, but we have some STEM newsletters and
Mhm.
email newsletters that we get, and we read her those. So she's hearing the words and getting primed on it early.
Exactly. Start STEM now.
Yeah.
Listen, parents, start STEM as babies and start NFTs as babies. And in 20 years, we'll have a whole generation of geniuses.
I know, right? It's gonna be crazy to watch it.
It is. I mean, this is the world that we're growing up in. It's a wonderful, wonderful time to start teaching things to our daughters,
Mhm.
continue teaching stuff to our sons. At the
Mhm.
same time, get into equality and inclusion.
Yep.
That's what everything
Absolutely.
is about.
Agreed. Agreed.
Thank you so much for being on the show today. And I
Thank you
hope
for having me.
feel better soon.
Thanks.
And one more time, so our listeners and our viewers can hear where to find you one last time.
Sure. It's www.steminists.io and at STEMinists NFT. Had to think about that one.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And for our viewers and our listeners, happy investing.